did only score 17 points against the Ravens. So does Kansas City need to return to an explosive offense to three-peat?
Can I quote Jack Nicholson from The Departed?
Sure, if it's safe for work.
Yeah, it is. He said, I haven't needed money since I took Archie's milk money in the 3rd grade, but I like it. They don't need to return to the explosive offense, but they like it. They want to. Then this is a difference between Patrick and Lamar. Lamar's saying, F throwing the ball. Patrick's saying, man, can we have some more ring around the rosy passes? Yeah. Has Taylor drawn one up? What about behind the back? What about getting back to what Broussard was talking about, them not, quote, wasting Mahomes' prime and a laser show? So do they need to? No. They won a Super Bowl in 2019, deep bombing you to death. They won a Super Bowl in 2021, scoring more than anyone, 3 to 5 yards at a time. They won a Super Bowl in 2022 with a great defense and a quarterback that just understood time score situation better than anyone. So they can win it a million different ways. I think they're going to try to play some of the hits again this year and go back to, you can beat us. You better be ready to score 35 points. And so that's what I think is going to happen. And so do I think they need to? No. Do I think they will? Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to give it to you. Perfect quote from Jack Nicholson.
Oh, thank you. I left out of some in the middle that was a little inappropriate for the show, but it is a good quote.
No, it's true. Look, after what happened last year, you just can never count them out, unless they just don't make the playoffs. Like, you can't count them out during Mahomes' prime. Because they had no business, like looking at that regular season. What they lost 5 of 8 or something like that.
And it was one of the hardest playoff paths ever by opponent record and opponent success in the regular season.
The receiving core, I think was bad, and they still won the Super Bowl. So no, Nick's right. They don't have to get back to that. But I selfishly, even though I'm not picking them to win the Super Bowl, I want to see it. I just don't like seeing a guy this talented not be able to use his full arsenal. And now, look, with 2 burners in Hollywood and Xavier Worthy, they should get back to being what they were.
Devil's advocate.
Sure.
If I was the Ravens, Mahomes has made it very clear that he wants to have fun and air it out, and I think you laid it out perfectly. Andy Reid wants to do it too. I wonder if they have the discipline to put that in the back pocket and get to be like, you know what? Unfortunately, we got to win this game like Floyd Mayweather. Here, come in and just dodge, one punch, win around, and just win this one 17-10 again. Well, obviously, he wants to win, but it really feels like this year he's like, you know, I did that all last year. I want to kind of.
So here's why this is why I think the 2021 season is so important. I'm sorry, the 2022 season is the year they won their 2nd Super Bowl. It's so important, the first year without Tyreek. That year, it was all underneath. I think it was 27 touchdown passes to tight ends or running backs. Yeah. It was a lot of the Mahomes air yards numbers were lower from that season. They led the league in points. They scored 44 in their opener. They can be not quite a laser show, but a prolific offense doing
like
that.
Like an avalanche.
Exactly. And so that the difference that I think is going to be because of Xavier, and Hollywood's not there tonight, I just think the middle of the field, the short intermediate middle for Kelsey and Rashee Rice is going to be so open that they can score a bunch of points even if they're not getting 30-yard gains. And so I agree. If Baltimore could hold them to 17, that would be a great game plan no matter what.
That would be a worst-case scenario for your Ravens. They hold the Chiefs to 17 and still lose.
Oh,
speaking of, mostly lose tonight. Rematch, we are about 5.5 hours away. Ravens in Arrowhead. Here's the career head-to-head between Lamar.
How's that going?
Patrick Mahomes. Not great. Not great for Lamar, I'll be honest with you. Mahomes has the advantage. So, Brew, we will start with you. We worked long and hard on this question.
Yeah.
Who you got?
Well, look, everybody knows I picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl. But the Chiefs proved last year, Nick, you don't have to win your season opener to win the Super Bowl.
That's exactly right.
And the Chiefs have every seeming advantage, like momentum-wise, tonight. The game is in Kansas City. It's banner night. You get tons of adrenaline from, the banner being raised and all the celebration of your Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They've had less turnover because you've highlighted the Ravens' turnover on the coaching staff and the roster. The Chiefs have had less turnover in both of those areas. And on paper, the Chiefs are better than they were a year ago when they, of course, won the Super Bowl. So, what a wonderful win this is going to be for the Baltimore Ravens, baby. You see the tie? You didn't even have to ask a brother the question. This is who I'm going with, the Ravens. And here's why.
Okay.
First of all, in the words of the late, great Jim Brown, they got to go get some get back. They going to go get some get back. It has been sticking in their craw, gnawing at them all off season that they were the better team last year. Not taking nothing from the Chiefs, but the Ravens were the better team last year. And while the Chiefs won fair and square, the Ravens can look at this and say, we beat ourselves. We beat ourselves. The Ravens had, Nick, they had 2 unnecessary roughness penalties. They had 8 penalties for 95 yards. 2 unnecessary roughness. That's the definition of an unnecessary penalty. One time they had too many men on the field. All right. Then 2 times they had roughing the passer. You don't have to do that. And then, of course, Zay Flowers taunting. All right. And then, of course, in addition to losing their composure with all those 15-yard penalties, they lost their identity. All right, and they stopped running the football. Look at this graphic. In a lot of ways, they outplayed the Chiefs. They had more total yards. They almost averaged 6 yards per play, 5 yards per rush. Why not run the ball? Look at the Chiefs, less than 3 yards per rush. You see the penalties, though, penalties, yards, and giveaways via turnover.
Not bad.
And that was the difference. So, Nick, all season, I know Lamar says it's not revenge, and that's a smart way to look at it. Don't make it too big. But this has been off season, and that's why they brought in Derrick Henry for the Chiefs. So I got the Ravens tonight.
Okay. First of all, let me say something, because I was worried there that you were going to do the ultimate hedge. Which
my acting
your acting has improved.
You have a SAG card.
I do.
No, and an
I
IMDb
get a
page,
royalty
he gets a
check,
royalty check of at
Not
least
much,
40
but-
to 50 cents every month. So, but you really did have me, because it would be semi-reasonable to say, I think the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl, but I think Kansas City is going to win tonight, and it also would be the ultimate television hedge, which would be, well, you get to come in tomorrow either right or happy. Just like I right now could easily say, well, it doesn't. Yeah, sure, the Ravens win, just like the Lions did last year, just like the Bengals do or the Bills do in the regular season against the Chiefs, and it doesn't matter. Unfortunately, I am bound by my commitment to honesty and integrity on this show, and I must not give the easiest take. I must give the honest take, and I have the Chiefs huge. I have the Chiefs. I'm not saying let me be very clear. I'm not saying a blowout. What I am saying is the Chiefs' offense, most notably its passing offense and Patrick Mahomes, is going to look as dominant as we have ever seen it.
Wow.
Because I know for some people, and I'm not naming names, but some people, last year is the only year. For those people, Tua Tagovailoa is an Iron Man, and there are real. I mean, exactly right. There you go, bro. I don't know why you pointed the wrong way. And for those people, they think the Chiefs' offense is maybe a question mark in Week 1. I try to, as Wilds would say, open the aperture a bit wider and say, how have the Chiefs looked in Week 1 since Patrick Mahomes got there? So let's quickly go through it. The second start of his career, the first start ever of when he was a full-time starter against the only other great quarterback in the division, 4 touchdowns, 250 yards, 127 rating. Then next year in Week 1, against the Jacksonville Jaguars, now that was pre-Trevor Jacksonville, 40 points, 3 touchdowns, 380 yards, a 143 rating. The next year against peak Deshaun Watson, coming off the 24-0 lead the Texans had.
Kind of similar.
3 touchdowns, 200 yards, a 123 rating. Then next year, coming up against peak Baker Mayfield after they beat them in the playoffs. 3 touchdowns, 337 yards, a 131 rating. Then next year, going up against peak Kyler, coming off a playoff appearance, first game without Tyreek Hill. That was the year, oh no, the Chiefs, the book is out on the Chiefs, put him in too high. No, Tyreek, what are you going to do? He's going to drop a 40-piece on your head. And then, of course, there was last year, which one of these things is not like the other. Last year was a disaster. But that does mean over the course of his career, there has been what he has always done in week 1, go 5-0, average 38 points in a 13-point victory, 18 touchdowns, no picks, a 137 rating, the greatest week 1 quarterback in NFL history, bar none, and then there's last year. And so I'm going to go with the bulk of history rather than last year. I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes being locked